Thank you. Please remain standing. Ms. Barbara, I believe you have students for the pledge tonight.
Yes, I have Ms. Kinsley Majors and Mr. Camden Oglesby to lead us in the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you have not already done so, please silence your cell phones. We have a special presentation tonight. I'd like to recognize Dr. Barbara King. A little tidbit about Dr. King that we're pretty proud of for more than one reason. She is a state semifinalist for the 26-27 Tennessee Principal of the Year. This recognition highlights her great leadership here at our school. We're so proud of her, and this award is something that's provided by the Tennessee Department of Education, and we wish you all the luck.
Thank you very much. All right, good evening. Testing.
Can you hear me? There we go. Good evening. Welcome to Rock Creek Elementary School. We are so incredibly proud to have each and every one of you, and I was hoping for a big crowd, and you've done it. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much for.
Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you so much. Tonight is truly a historic moment for Rock Creek Elementary School. We are incredibly proud and honored to have each and every one of you here to join us for this very special occasion. This beautiful mosaic chair represents...
Far more than art, it reflects a year-long journey of creativity, collaboration, and community spirit. Students, family, and staff, and all our supporters came together to bring this vision to life. And tonight we celebrate what can happen when we work as one. We are so grateful to have several very special guests tonight with us this evening, whose support and encouragement has helped make this project possible. This is a proud and meaningful moment for our school, one that we will remember for years to come. Thank you so much for being a part of it and for continuing to support the heart of Rock Creek Elementary School, our community. Welcome, and we hope you enjoy this special celebration. Once again, we are so happy to have you here at Rock Creek. And for our mission statement, the faculty and staff at Rock Creek Elementary School are committed to creating a school that knows no limits to the academic and social success of each and every student. We are very excited tonight to share with you lots of things, including the rocket chair, but also our amazing school video. It's our type video, and I have wanted this type of video since I've been principal for the past 3 years, and it has come to life. So we want to spotlight ESPN Radio Winchester, if they will please stand. Worked on this as well. So, let's get ready. Here it is, our school hop video.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
lots of exciting recognitions this year, including receiving the Exact Path Trophy twice this year and once last year, so we're very proud of that. We were also named Franklin County's finest school. And this is the first time for Rock Creek Elementary School that we've received this award, so thank you so much for your votes. And I hope that you saw our banner proudly displayed outside. And also, we were awarded lots of grants this year. I know Miss Sarah and I have worked really hard on grant writing, and we were awarded $12,659 this school year. So let's give it up for our grant money. All right, so next up, we have a very special message. This is from Dr. John Levins, and he is a Franklin County graduate. And he was actually a chief operational engineer for the Artemis launching mission. So he has created a special video for us in honor of the rocket chair. So let's hear from Dr. John Levins.
Hi, I'm John Levins. I'm a 1985 graduate of Franklin County High School and South Junior High before that. And I'm honored to be here today to talk just a little bit about education and to congratulate the Rock Creek Elementary School for this wonderful invention that they've brought forward, the rocket chair. Just a little bit more about me. After being at Franklin County, I went to Tennessee Tech and got an engineering degree, and later on a master's and PhD from another school, all public education. I want to remind you guys that public education is the very backbone of our society. It's what gets all of us where we are, and in this case, help get astronauts to the moon. Again, I'd like to congratulate Rock Creek. This is a wonderful device that they show, and I'm just glad to see such creative work all the way down in our elementary schools. I'd like to remind everybody that the real landmark, the real hallmarks of any great society are the way we treat science, art, and exploration. And I see all of this in this rocket ship. And I want to encourage all of you to motivate our young kids in elementary school, junior high, and high school, and enable them to pursue that science, art, and exploration. Thank you.
Rock Creek's mosaic rocket chair symbolizes the school's pride, community, and ambition. During our community build event in October, which I know a lot of you attended, this project brought together a diverse group of contributors, including students, families, retired educators, and Franklin County's leadership. I would also like to give special recognition to our amazing art teacher, Mrs. Penny Payne. If Mrs. Penny Payne, if you'll stand up for us, please. Worked really hard during this process, worked with students, collaborated with Ms. Sherry Hunter, and did a fabulous job helping advertise and orchestrate that whole event. So thank you very much. One more round of applause for Ms. Penny Payne. Fun facts from this project. Let's give her a round of applause.
It's an honor to be here. It was an honor to be invited, and an honor to work with such a dedicated, loving community. I just was so impressed by my time spent here and the people that I met. So that's a fact that I'll always hold dear to my heart. So just a couple things real quick. You contributed to a mosaic project, which was mosaics started in Mesopotamia, the 3rd millennium BC, and really gained traction with ancient Greece and Rome in the 4th century. And I was delighted to find out that many of the students already knew that fact, so I'm sharing it with the parents. So some of my fun facts relate to some of the imagery. So I know that this rocket needs to go to, any rocket needs to just be looking in outer space, and I was inspired by the various galaxies, and part of my imagery was inspired by the I knew I was going to say it. Andromeda galaxy. So that's been placed on the rocket, and that's sort of new to what it was when we were here. There, you'll see where I'm going to be putting, adding Pluto. Pluto was originally the ninth planet, and then was demoted to a dwarf planet, but still seems to hold a sentimental spot for a lot of people who are involved with this project. So Pluto will be included. There are more than 30 different colors of tiles. Over the years, I've been working with mosaics for over 30 years, and I kept saving all the different colors from all the different projects. And except for the green spectrum, you probably have every other tile that I have, color of tile that I have in my collection on this chair. So it was real fun to be pulling out tiles from the back room. Probably one of the most fun facts you'd like to know is the number of pieces that are on the chair. I have no idea. So that will be a task that I'll leave to you. But one of the main things that I want to say in terms of this rocket chair, that it has a very special fuel, and that fuel is the energy that everybody put into the piece when they added a tile or their words of encouragement. And I'd just like to thank you for that.
Another very special person to this project is Mrs. Sarah Lindsay. She has been a champion for this project. She was a huge help during the summer workshop week with the chair construction and the community tiling process, and has been a champion of community outreach to bring this special art piece to the Estill Springs community. Let's give her a big round of applause. And like I said, this has been a truly community event, and I know lots of you have contributed in a lot of different ways. So, if you are a student of Rock Creek, a parent of Rock Creek, staff member, faculty member of Rock Creek, or you came and added the tiles to the rocket chair, supported our chair financially, and have been a cheerleader for this special project, would you please stand? Thank you so very much. This has been so special. I'm so incredibly proud to bring this to Rock Creek. It does have a little bit of extra work to be done that Ms. Sarah will be working on this summer, but it is amazing. We're so excited to show it off to you. So, if we just have the lights off, please. All right. Here we go. Drum roll, please. As you can see, it's amazing. And I hope that you have time to walk around it. The bag that equally is amazing. We are so incredibly proud to bring this artwork to Estill Springs community. This is the first of its kind in Franklin County, so we're very proud to have it. So, we want you to make sure to come by and visit often. Feel free to take a picture with the rocket chair. I know a lot of you probably need to leave before the board meeting happens, but you're more than welcome to stay. So if you would like to stay for the board meeting, you are more than welcome. But thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it. And thank you so much to everybody for taking a part in our chair. One more round of applause.
our agenda tonight, we have recognition of some of our grown apprentices. Ms. Cynthia Young, our principal at Cowan, has those for us.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm going to call after Barbara. This is amazing. Barbara, this is really good. It's really good. So our Grow Your Own program is, we're in collaboration with UC Southern, and we have educational assistants who have earned their associate's degree, and then they decided they wanted to become teachers, and it's called Grow Your Own program. So I've had a wonderful experience this year working with our 5 schools. We have 8 candidates, 5 are graduating, and several of them already have jobs in our county, and that's what we're doing. We're growing our own so that they can come and work for us when they finish. So we would just like to recognize them. At this time, as I call your name, if you're in Grow Your Own program, come on up here and join me. You know we do this together we can. This is an amazing group of young people, and I'm going to tell you something. They are going to go far in this county. I'll look for awards and all this stuff coming up, okay? I'm going to do this after order, so Lauren Curtis. I don't see her with us tonight. Jasmine Daniel. Congratulations. Gabby Danley. Hayden Jones. And Madison McCurry. I am so proud of this group of young people. And like I said, you're going to see amazing things from them. Thank you all.
Ms. Butler, Ms. Brittany Butler, she is going to present some awards for some of our students who did exceptionally well in the ACT.
In case you don't know, the ACT is an indicator of college readiness, and it's scored on a scale of 1 to 36. This year, Franklin County High School had 7 students score 30 or above, which puts them in the top 4 to 7% nationwide of students taking that ACT. So this opens up lots of opportunities for them as far as schools and scholarships, and we're incredibly proud of these students. So students, when I call your name, please come forward and get your certificate. Harrison Crenshaw. Audrey Stewart. Nicholas Castle. William Orr. Tracy Hunter. Hayden Hunt. Hayden is also in the National Merit Scholarship Program, so he will be potentially a semifinalist, and we hope a finalist, depending on how things play out. But we're super proud of him getting into that program as well. And Mark Franklin.
Can we get them all together to take a group picture?
Did y'all come back for a group picture? Come back over.
I was looking all the way around.
Alrighty, hello everybody. My name is Kason Moore. I am a Franklin County graduate. I graduated as salutatorian. I'm currently at the University of Tennessee. For the last year, with fellow SCHS graduates, I've been working to bring a remote area medical clinic to Franklin County. This company essentially provides logistics and support to free medical services to the poor and underserved peoples of this community. And I would like to thank the board for allowing me to come speak about this today, and I'd also like to thank Ms. Butler, who we just heard from, for her incredible support. This event will be hosted at Franklin County High School, and without her support, this event would not be possible. And while I can speak at length about the service for the patients, what I really wanted to highlight today would be the unique experience that we will be bringing to students at Franklin County High School. We have 10 slots for students. We're targeting right now students in the HOSA program to essentially be able to shadow medical professionals as they're performing and doing their due diligence. They will be, this is lots of professional experience for them. This is lots of teaching experience for them to get to learn from real professionals, real medical professionals, and get hands-on experience, not just serving, not just serving a hospital. This is serving the most underserved and the most desperate members of our community. Plus, the biggest bonus that I know many are excited about is that we will be including Tennessee Promise hours as well as meals for all of these students. So again, I thank the board for this opportunity to come and speak, and I if the board has any questions about this. Fire away.
Cousin, can you give us the name of the organization? Maybe I missed it.
Yes, ma'am. It's Remote Area Medical. It's a organization that is hosted in Rockwood, Tennessee, which is just right outside of Knoxville. Essentially, it provides equipment, logistics, lots of support networks, lots of volunteers, things that make a clinic of this scale and this depth possible. We go very far, we're very thorough with the type of care we try to present. We make glasses on site. We do not just extractions, but we also do fillings on site. So it's something that's really important to us to get to work with them, because it can truly take free medical care in this county to a next level. That's something that's really important to me, trying to get back to this community that raised me.
Nancy, you said there were 10 slots.
10 slots, yes ma'am. That is a requirement.
Is that 10 students?
10 students, yes ma'am.
What's the criteria?
First come, first serve.
Okay.
Any student who's actually over the age of 18 can volunteer freely, and will have more of a regular volunteer experience. But those who are under 18 have to fill out a minor release form, and they will be put more in this specialized shadowing position. But we've been kind of working with the HOSA Club at the high schools. We feel like that's the most appropriate place to source these students.
And will this start next school year? How many hours will it
Yes, apologies. I should have explained that a little bit better. My apologies. It will be a free pop-up clinic. We'll have a setup day on June 5th, and then June 6th through the 7th will be our days. And that is, it's just we're coming in, we're doing that. It'd be something that hopefully in the future maybe we plan to make this a recurring event, make this something that we continue to bring remote area medical into this community to continue to serve the underserved. But as of right now, we are planning for June 6th and 7th is when these students would be at Franklin County High School doing this wonderful service.
So it's a one-time thing, not
Yes,
a
ma'am.
recurring.
Yes, ma'am. This would be something that, we would probably look at, a student comes in, they do it one time. This is something that they can put on their resume. This is something completely unique, something that I don't think a lot of other high schools, especially in the rural setting, are able to provide their students. This is something that I think differentiates a student who says, hey, I want to go to UT Medical. I want to go to LMU. I want to go to all these different schools. Hey, I had this experience already at this young age. And that's something I think I learned from all of you, to be quite perfectly honest, serving as a student rep. for that 1 year. Those unique experiences that we can give our students can make their careers, because it's made mine. So that's something that I'm really passionate about, and while it's not necessarily in my field, while I'm more policy and law, it's something that if I could give that to a student who's interested in health, my sister's a nurse, I wish she had something like this. If I can give that to somebody, that's something that's really important for me.
Thank you so much for remembering Franklin County and bringing your creativity, your dedication, and your vision back to us. We're just so glad you didn't forget it. So glad to be here. We welcome you anytime.
Yes, ma'am. I could never forget Franklin County. This is my home. I love this place. I want to have my kids grow up here. I want to put them through Franklin County school systems. I want to live here the rest of my life. This is my home, and whatever I can do to make my home better is something that I'm going to do. So thank you.
Here tonight.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on into approval of the consent agenda, or the agenda first. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve the agenda by Mr. Williams, and second by Ms. Schultz. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Now we'll move into approval of the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion to approve by Mr. Williams,
Second.
second by Ms. Roberts. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
I'll abstain.
Motion carries. That takes us to the director's report.
Okay. I would like to start off by recognizing our student representatives. Only one of them is here tonight. Belle Suloff is from Franklin County High School. And I don't think you missed a board meeting, have you? You came to every one of them. So I think this program we started maybe 3 or 4 years ago, Casey was, and maybe the first one from Franklin County.
Yes, sir.
And so we appreciate their contributions to the board. And I know at times the board members have questions for our students, and they're able to kind of give them a little bit of that insight, so we appreciate that. So, well. Okay, so the next item is the Spotlight on Federal Programs. I think Jenny is going to cover that for Jenny Crabtree and Dr. Gwen.
Ms. Crabtree and Dr. Gwen are both unavailable, so I get to present their consolidated funding application. You'll have to forgive me, I'm more familiar with the financial side of this than the program side, but it all kind of goes together. So the district does receive a consolidated grant through the state and federal government every single year. This is the Title 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as the IDEA Special Education Grant. That is a guaranteed grant from the state.
Wait, can you just, for the sake of the audience, because we still have more people than usual, just explain what Title 1, 2, 3, and 4 are?
I can.
Or Dr. Also.
So, the Title 1 is low-income schools, I believe. Title 2 is English language learners. Title 3 is also English. No, Title 2 is your coaches, your math coach and literacy coach and RTI coordinator. Title 3 is English language learners, and Title 4 is another coaching position, I do believe. There are specifics to it that I don't know, and Ms. Crabtree is going to be in. And then IDEA special education is for those students that need additional help in the classroom for both regular classrooms and pre-K. So the allocations did come down from the state, and you can see Title 1 serves 7 of our schools. Title 2 does fund the literacy coach, the math coach, and the district-wide RTI coordinator, as well as paying for professional development per school as needed. Title 3 is the material supplies for the English language teachers, and Title IV will fund the new behavioral support person that was hired into the district. And then the IDEA is special education funding for all of the schools. It is teachers, assistants, consultants. All of the special education bus monitors are paid through federal funding, as well as various supplies and equipment. And IDEA 911 is the pre-K, paid through the state, and it does fund one assistant. It covers 4 schools, but it only pays 1 assistant and supplies. Any questions? Good. That's pretty normal year to year. The allocations, for the most part, stay the same. They're down each year, but it always funds the same thing.
Okay, the next item on our project updates from the maintenance department. The first item that is the north and south middle school lighting. We've had some problems with some lighting in those schools. This information came from Mr. Clark. So there's some concerns that we're going to have to address at some point. We're still working on getting some quotes on the materials for those fixes. The flooring at the Huntley School and the roofing, the tiles have asbestos, so there's a company that has been contacted to remove those. The field house roof has been installed. That project was completed on May 4th. Then just a couple of other projects, Clark Memorial cafeteria air conditioning and the upstairs window replacement in the central office. Did want to report that our training project, we've had some success this last reporting period. The total savings so far under the program is $154,100 savings. This last reporting period is $100,000. I think it has to do with some different thermostats that we put in. That is the maintenance report. On the personnel side, very busy in the HR office. A lot of things going on with personnel. We still have 35 positions. None of those are new. Those are all positions that we currently have. We still get a lot of applicants. We're very happy to be able to select from a good candidate list. So that's all I have on that.
Have the athletic update.
Athletic update, Mr. Bean.
Good afternoon, good evening. I think I'm stepping in for Mr. Cole to give the athletic updates tonight. It's nice to be back without having to pull a card in the gym, so that's a plus. First up is Nolan Curtis from North. Played for the Franklin County Middle School soccer team. I think he had a speech prepared, but I told him it was too long. So we're going to spare you. Those letters over there are tiny, so I'll remember what I can.
I want the speech.
He had a speech, it was way too long. He did tell me to make sure to thank his parents for everything they do for him every day. Nolan was, I believe, selected as the MVP of his soccer team this year, 8th grader, second honor roll student. I know we're excited to get him in high school next year. He's a legacy. His dad played soccer here in Franklin County, so he can step in and fill those shoes and hopefully grow to be as tall and strong as his dad. I'm sure you are. Next up from South Middle School is Sabrina Cole. She plays, I think, just about everything if I remember. She's got a tennis racket, but she plays quite a bit, volleyball, and is very active. And again, she was the top of her class, I believe, last year and this year, so hats off to her to be able to do all these sports and keep up her studies and get top of her class. So I'm not sure if Ms. Cole is here, but if you see her, make sure to high five her. From Huntland, we've got Ms. Kim Mason, softball player, and I know I saw the last 2 or 3 days she was selected as an all-district player for softball team, which is quite an accomplishment. And she played a lot, but she played all 4 years down there and participated on varsity and had an outstanding career. And I don't know if Ms. Mason is here. She is not. Okay. And then another softball player from Franklin County High School, Caitlin Montgomery, senior, and she led the entire district in batting average, which was, I think, over 500, which is really, really good. She led the whole team in several stat categories and is probably the nicest kid walking to that school building. She's really sweet, just all around great kid, always smiling, and all these students very, very deserving. And I know it's an athletic spotlight, but just going through and reading some of their bios, we're not just recognizing these students, we're recognizing some of our top academic students in our schools as well. Which, seeing everybody who's recognized here tonight, and Casey speaking, it's really nice to see a lot of our athletic participants doing some really cool things, score really high. We're going to see how many soccer players were in there. There were several. And, Casey, got to watch Casey play football a couple years ago, and it's really good to see him back. And I took some notes about your public speaking ability and try to get better. So watch yours and keep practicing. So a lot of numbers. I'm going to turn that one over to Jenny. Do that one.
Most of those, or we've been able to replace a lot of equipment, weightlifting equipment at both all three junior highs or middle schools in South Huntland. Got some safety things for some of the different fields, and so it's been good year.
Let's have one more round of applause for Nolan.
All right, that takes us to item J, which is the legislative update. Ms. Branson.
All right, so the legislature ended their session after our last meeting on April 23rd, but then the governor convened a special session on May 5th to formally review the state's congressional map following the renewed nationwide action around the congressional representation. I'll come back to that in a moment. So, updates since we last met. Basically the voucher bill that was Senate Bill 2247. In case you hadn't already heard, again, there were 20,000 education freedom scholarships last year, essentially vouchers. They're supposed to add 5,000 this year. Instead, they added 15,000, so it went from 20,000 last year to 35,000 this year. They also tacked on a couple of additional things. There was a hold harmless where schools enrollment went down, the state would make the money up. Now they've tied it to only students who left for education freedom scholarships, and those students have to be able to show their social security number, I think. So again, they've added layers of things with that. There's another upcoming laws related to the Internet Acceptable Use Policy, and we'll apparently have to review this policy twice a year, which is surprising. A lot of things have been happening in Memphis, and this kind of comes back to the special session. So in part, there is a bill that kind of allows the state to take over the Memphis-Shelby County schools. There's a checklist of maybe 6 things, and if you hit 4 of those things, the state can take over. There are a number of other districts that already have 3. Presumably they're going to work really hard to stay off the list, but it says the new law gives the oversight board, which could be appointed at any time and must convene for the first time before July, broad latitude to set performance metrics for the district. It could also control everything from hiring, the hiring of superintendent, to textbooks and classroom curriculum. The new body would have final say over the district's $1.7 billion budget and major decisions like school closures and zoning. And then after that, they redistricted and made a new map. which it targets the 9th Congressional District in Memphis, the state's sole majority black district, and its last remaining Democratic stronghold. So those are just kind of some of the things that are happening in tandem in Memphis, and that was what the special call session was for. But again, legislature should be pretty quiet because they're, as far as I know, really out for the season now. A federal update kind of ties into what Jenny was sharing earlier. The education department is hoping to shutter its office for English learners and kind of put it in different places. And so I think that, you know, supposedly maybe the funding won't go away, it'll just move, but I think a lot remains to be seen. So we'll keep our eyes out and keep you updated. Anyone else have anything to report? Thank you.
All right, that takes us to item K, which is finance. Ms. Jean?
There's a lot. We'll start with the easy. Receive and file is going to be the financial report. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Motion to receive and file April 2026 monthly financial report.
Second. We have a motion by Mr. Williams, second by Ms. Lacy. All in favor say aye. Aye. To receive and file. And now these others are actually resolutions.
Correct, yes. You want to do them one by one? Do you want to put them all together? Do you want to do it?
All together as far as I'm concerned, unless they have individual questions that they'd like to ask. They haven't had them so they can see them.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Most of these are normal bookkeeping resolution for the school cafeteria, the multi-year resolution. Okay, so this is, the first one is moving the funds that were originally transferred in 2021 to cover ESSER funds. We transferred money from the general fund balance into the federal fund balance. This is moving those funds back. That is the corresponding budget amendment that goes along with it to move those funds back. Got the multi-year agreement, and that's just strictly paperwork. The cafeteria is getting a new system. There's a pre-grant application for the Grow Your Own program. It's just receiving funds. And these are just allocating money, realigning grants and different line items for both of those. I am asking to preempt the summer camp budget resolution. Generally, this is the summer camp that is paid through the state that comes through E-Plan. The budget has been sent to the state to approve that. It's been approved at the district level. We're just waiting on the state. I'm asking for you all to go ahead and approve the summer camp budget as is, pending the approval of TDOE, so that we can put it in place in our budget before summer camp actually starts next month. Otherwise, it'll be the end of June.
It's pending.
Yes, so, and it does have pending TDOE approval on it at the bottom.
And the summer camp is for the TCAP, like third grade.
This is the same summer camp that we've had the last 4 years, I think. That is it's for elementary. I think we have 3 or 4 of the different elementary schools. That is funded through the state.
So funding is there, we're just waiting on them to approve how we're spending the funding?
Well, yes, they've given the allocation, we put it where they think they'll need it, so we're simply waiting on the final approval from
So we
TDOE.
had a number from them
Yes,
already?
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes. That number came from TDOE, yes. I think that's it.
Any questions?
I just would, yes. The one for the pre-application, Grow Your Own grant, how many teachers do we hope to include in that? Do we know?
I do not. And my understanding is it's a reimbursement for funds that have already been spent on essentially that program. I do not know how that money will be allocated. I just know that they are applying to receive those funds.
We selected teachers today for new teachers to go to the program. See if I can see what tell you how many were selected. 5 were selected for the next iteration of that program.
Did they apply for this and you all, did they apply and you all went through
Yeah,
and
they
selected
screened them.
ones? Okay.
And those were the ones that made the cut.
Okay.
I think they had several applicants.
And these are our teacher aides.
Yes, they're currently employed in the district.
And how long is the program? Because like we had the group here tonight.
2 years, they have to have an associate's degree.
Make a motion to approve the resolution, budget amendments.
Second.
As identified under K, number 2.
So, motion by Mr. Williams, second by Ms. Schultz. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Okay, that takes us to item L, which is new business. First item there is the approval of textbook adoption. Ms. Patty, that information was turned in by you. This is the request from our textbook committee for our new textbooks that have to be ordered this year. And it's something that we have to do on basis every several years, so there's nothing new. And yes, it's just a matter of getting it approved so that she can see what's going to get hold.
Question, are they physical books, not just online books? There's like a physical print copy.
CTE will be online library. It's not physical books. They are library.
So we're going to return a motion if there's no other questions.
Motion to approve the textbook adoption for 26-27.
We have a motion by Mr. Williams and a second by Ms. Schultz to approve the textbook adoption for 26-27 school year. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. That takes us to item 2, which is policy review. Dr. Alsop.
Okay, so the policies that were on the agenda for May, because our online policy grant has been down, I didn't even know if they're activated yet. I did check today, but I wasn't able to go in and do any of the updates for those. So, I'm sorry.
It was on today.
Oh, was it? Okay.
But, yeah.
But we do have a few that I would like to, for the board to take a look at. The first two have to do with individuals that are taking prolonged leave of absence, just to align a policy with the school districts around us, to not allow them to accrue any type of leave while they're on extended leave of absence. The third one is the attendance one. And this is in response to Ms. Johnson's presentation on LifeWise last month. I reached out to Ben Torres with TSBA, and he gave me a sample policy and a sample administrative procedure. So on the attendance policy on page 4, the addition was the release time course language. And then last, I think I sent this out to all the board members about potentially updating our cell phone policy. I'm going to have Ms. Butner and Ms. Easley come out and talk a little bit about that. I don't want you to approve it. I want this to be a first review. If I ask questions, we can make some adjustments. As soon as the board can approve this, if we want to make a change, we need to get this advertised and get this out to our parents so they know.
Can we go ahead and approve the vacation and holiday and the sick leave and the attendance? And then that's
Make a motion to approve the 5.302, 5.310, and 6.200.
Can we take the attendance one as a first read also?
why would you want to do that? I'm just asking.
I mean, I would like to have a better understanding of the release time, of course.
Well, what he has here, the release time, lady, I'll just call it that, the LifeWise Academy. will come to us and speak to us as a board. This is information from state that we're including in our attendance policy to cover that if we entertain it. Yeah. That's not, I mean, it's just in the policy.
Consider it higher to be in the policy. Like
Well, we have to have a policy for it if it's going to go on in our county.
It was recommended by mentors that we put this in our policy to protect us.
Right. Now, he sent out, did you get the information this afternoon with our policy? Which is what my parents are going to do. But she's got to come and speak with the board about it and the logistics of it and everything that goes along with that. And that probably won't be until July, I would say, board meetings. That's right. But this is just a standard procedure within the attendance policy to cover it when it happens. I don't know. We have a motion on the floor. The motion is to approve the policy. And not do, no motion. So, motion by Mr. Williams.
I second.
Second by Ms. Roberts. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. All right, ladies.
Hey, I'm Holly Eastlick, principal at North Middle School, and Brittany Butner, principal at Franklin County High School. Perfect, and we're going to use our live voices, so if you can't hear us, just let us know and we'll work on that. So we wanted to just take a few minutes. Last year, you all were gracious enough to provide a more restricted personal communication device policy, which really made an impact in our building. What ended up happening from that was each individual school for secondary created their own kind of tiered system based on the level of violation. So obviously, when working with students, sometimes it takes multiple violations before they take a policy seriously. And so each school, like I said, kind of created their own. So this year, we got together as a committee where we wanted to put that into a board policy that is across the county for consistency purposes. And it definitely is more of the three strikes you're out with that policy. It includes more things than just cell phones and smartwatches, headphones, AirPods, anything that could be considered a communication device. And what that has done for our school, it has taken away a lot of the things that created some discipline problems because of the students having access to that device. In the middle school area, it is restricted where you do not have cell phones in instructional areas. They do not have cell phones during transition time, and the only time they had that was during their lunch and activity time, and drastically made a difference in our culture and climate. So I'm going to ask Ms. Butler to share about Franklin County's version of that policy.
We did allow cell phones during that transition time. After doing this for a year, we would like to move to something more of what North Middle has done. I think it would help be more consistent as well across the board, especially for those incoming freshmen. I anticipate there to be some growing pains with that the first few weeks of school. But basically this proposes that, for us at Franklin County, they would have their cell phones when they're in the cafeteria, which would be mornings before they're dismissed to class, and then during lunch, so that they can check things. If they need to reach out to parents, they can send that text or do whatever they need to. That's okay. But basically, when they come out of the cafeteria, those phones are stored away. And it does, like she said, include all of those personal communication devices. And so we're hoping to really focus them in on that instructional time and have it very clear. It's hard for them to pull it out in that 7-minute class change and then put it back up. That transition is just tough. And so we've learned this year that we want to go that route as well.
For sure, and we even had students, I was pleasantly surprised when we implemented that in our building. We had signs for the visual reminder, no personal communication device during this time. I had students thanking me week 2, week 3 of school. We love not having phones. Thank you so much. This is so much better. It really creates more of an environment where you're looking at a person and having a conversation versus constantly looking down. And it has supported a little bit more when they do have access to their Chromebook during instructional time. It's not an immediate entertainment value. It's more of an educational value because now that's the practice we're doing without those cell phones. So what questions do you have for us. We did look at multiple counties. We did not just come up out of thin air with this. We did our research and we looked at what other counties were doing as well to kind of see what alignment we could provide with this.
I do like your,
Sorry, we cannot hear. We're going to come a little closer.
I like that you have your offenses listed in this policy. I think that's going to be very helpful. But I'm curious as to why you have so many choices, you know, that they can make when they hit a fifth or your floor. And then they can either in-school suspension or out-of-school suspension. Why did you come to that conclusion?
I think for us it was the fact that we don't have after-school detention as much in the middle schools. Our students don't drive, so that relies on either bus transportation or that parent agreeing to come and pick them up. So what we did was we took what each school already had in place that was working for that system, and we made it where it could fit any of the schools, north, south, Franklin County, or Homeland. So, for example, on fourth offense, we talked about that student may be suspended or lose driving privileges. Obviously, in middle school, they do not drive. So we wanted it to be something that, again, when they see it as an incoming sixth grader, they would not see a different policy when they go into eighth grade, going into ninth grade. It's something that's been consistent.
But I mean, I like that there are options. I feel like missing lunch, while it might be kind of lousy, then it's not how much time with your friends, you're not missing the curriculum and what you're learning. And so I think that there are ways to kind of have the consequences you want without hurting your academics.
Right. We really focus on socialization as being kind of one of those first things that they care about at that secondary level. When they have a violation, you know, doing that in front of their friends could necessarily be like, hey, I'm not going to change that behavior. But once you can convenience, number one, the kiddo, and take away what they want to do, such as that social time, they really do decide they can make a better decision with that for sure.
That also, when you look at, for example, the 4+ offense, it also builds in a little bit of additional tiers almost there for ISD. Then if we have another, we have the driving privileges. So that's the other thought process behind that.
Right, in middle school and high school, you have several different teachers, several different classes. We also wanted to make sure if I violate this in first period, I don't turn around and violate it in second period and it's treated the exact same. So it would be a consistent school-wide. Once it's documented in that student information system, I can see, hey, second period, you've already had this taken up. We're taking it to a different level. And we do have that parent contact. I had a parent I contacted a few days ago about a violation, and she said, honey, you take that phone and you lock it up the rest of the school year. I don't want to see it either. And I was like, yes, ma'am. I will call you back if that happens. So I do think the parents are wanting that support when it's a clear-cut policy. I think where it does get a little harder for us administrators is if something is principal discretion. Well, then it becomes well, at Franklin County they do this, but at North they do this. We're wanting it to be in Franklin County schools. This is what we're doing to help support our students making those good decisions.
I don't know about Ms. Lathan down in Montgomery, but I spoke to Dr. Brewer. She's fully supportive.
Yes, ma'am.
We were all on the committee, so we came up with this together, including Ms. Crabtree. So
Consistency.
Yes, ma'am.
Across the county is the key.
The clearer the policies are, yes, ma'am. I was going to say the clearer the policies are, the clearer it is for us working with parents. We do have some students that do go back and forth through different schools with moves and things like that. It's not one or the other. It is this is what's expected in all those schools. So it is appreciated as an administrator when we have that clarity. It also supports if we have questions. I can call Ms. Butner. Hey, how are you reading this? How does that look at your school? So it helps us again create that consistency in school. Yes, ma'am.
I'm wondering what you have built in case of an emergency within your building or on your campus. And I like your policy, and I understand your rationale, and I support consistency and a policy that has some teeth to it. So it's not the policy, but I know today, I think just in Middle Tennessee, there were 6 bomb threats thrown in to different high schools. And I'm just wondering how we as a district, or you as a school, if it were just your school, do you have any thought about what you might do should that happen?
So are you talking about an active emergency? My school is on a lockdown. What do I do with students using their
These
devices?
schools were put on lockdown until they had determined that they were not
Well, any
credible.
report of a mass threat or any type of a threat for safety, we obviously would go on a lockdown ourselves, and we practice those different things when we do that for what should be happening in the school and in specifically the classrooms with students. For example, we're very honest with them. If there is something happening and while I have 500 people calling 911, Franklin County Dispatch cannot process that. So that's part of those safety drills that we have a conversation about. An opposite example, we've had students before in the classroom, there might be an Amber Alert, and the policy is, hey, let's turn off devices they're not supposed to be on. Well, even in precaution, an Amber Alert might go off. We're not going to violate 500 students based on an emergency. So I would hope that students would follow through with our practice if there is a mass emergency. Now, also, I can't help if we're in a lockdown situation. Obviously, the safety would be on getting that person taken care of, whatever that threat might be. You might have students reaching out to parents, and I don't think there's anything we can do to combat that. But that would just be my opinion on how we would process
But
that.
there's an emergency communication plan, so basically
Yes.
at the end of the policy.
Yes. Yeah, so we as a school obviously have that, but I thought your question was about like when students are in a lockdown situation and they're calling parents, there's not much we're going to be able to do to combat that.
But they will not be able to call parents.
If in that situation, they very well might.
The policy asks them to store it away. I know at the high school level, that's going to be in a backpack or a purse. I mean, this is the reality. So if they're
So the stored away is not necessarily in a locker.
no ma'am. So it's I can just tell you, high school kids are still going to have that readily available and accessible if they want it. So our job is going to be to make sure that they understand to keep those put away in the event that something like this happens. We ask them not to get that out for the very reasons that Ms. Eastwood discussed. However, I can tell you that they're going to make contact,
And the
especially
same,
if they're fearful. I mean, that's just the reality.
right, and same thing with drills. I mean, we've had several drills where the adults are, oh my gosh, is this real? Is this happening? I think the adrenaline in that situation would probably make logical thought harder to follow. But I will also say the same thing as the high school. It's going to be stored. We have little cubbies on our doors. Should a student choose to put that in a cubby, in a situation of a lockdown, that policy would be you go to your hard corner. Therefore, they would not put in and go grab that device. So if it's on their person, we would not be able to combat that as much as if it's in a locker or in a backpack or stored somewhere in the classroom that's safe.
You said that was a choice for the student to put it in the...
Yes, ma'am, that is. That is kind of similar to one of those situations where I think for us this year we did it's stored or it's put into a space that is a safe place or we want them to put it into a locked place. The fact is that my teachers, they should be teaching class. And as much as I want them to police the policies put forth, I don't want them wasting precious class time looking and searching and wanting a kid if the phone is on their person. If it becomes a distraction or a problem, absolutely, that's part of your classroom management domain. Please, by all means, take care of that. But I'm not going to ask them to go search for a problem when we need to get inside and get going with academics.
Same as my school.
Yes, ma'am. Many of our teachers also have those like shoe rack situations, and they use those. Math, for example, they can put their phone in to get their calculator, so it's kind of a trade out. That way the teacher knows. So we have the same types of things in place. Yes,
We
ma'am.
definitely are stealing each other's good ideas, bad ideas. We're trying it all to try to get the kiddos just to come in and understand what the process would be to get
You
to.
moving forward with the committee.
Yes, ma'am. And Ms. Crabtree, the upcoming Human Resources Supervisor, she was part of that committee as well as Ms. Shields, the secondary supervisor.
One of the biggest complaints that we have is that teachers don't all implement this the same. So I guess you as a committee being the four principals, are you going to enforce?
Yes, sir.
And making sure, make it known,
Yes,
make
sir.
it known to your teachers that they are expected to implement this policy and follow it.
Yes, sir.
I absolutely think so. Now, I will also ask for upcoming sub training. I think we have more subs that come in that don't police that policy, and they themselves are actually on phones instead of monitoring students. And that's something in the building that we do address and take care of. But I think it's that universal. Our team, I know if there was a rumor that Ms. Eastlick did not police this, they are going to hold each other accountable as well, not just the admin in the building. Because like we said, that consistency piece, that one teacher not following it, the kids talk. And the kids know, and I love so-and-so's class. Well, why? Because we get to have our cell phones. That's not happening. And I know we've talked about that a lot. Yeah.
And that is one of the things that me personally, I wanted to go to a policy like this because then I can say, when you're in the cafeteria, you may have a phone. When you're not. And I can go to those teachers, look, I'm going to hold them accountable because I know that Dr. Austin's going to hold me accountable. So we're going to make some adjustments at Franklin County High School.
Yes, sir. For sure.
May I interject for a minute? Dr. King, I think you're still over there. Could you turn the air up? I mean, that or bring us some more chairs and burn. It's freezing up here.
Is there anything else for cell phone? If not, we can leave you guys.
Are we allowed to ask a question from the audience or not?
Yes.
I've actually done a lot of research on this because it's been a hot button for me for a long time. I've reached out to Utah and Mississippi, Eastern Tennessee, and I'm curious why you wouldn't have a policy for through the middle schools and a separate policy for high school, because it's quite a different set of situations. That's one question. The second one is, why would you allow it in the lunchroom? Because that's where the trouble starts in high school for sure. And the people that I've surveyed around the country say that the fights, people taking pictures that they weren't supposed to, all those things happen at lunch period. And lastly, the discipline is not strong enough, in my opinion. Because the in-school suspension, most kids blow it off. It's not a big deal. The people that I've surveyed around the country have made it four policies. The last policy is alternative school and never bring the phone back. So I mean, it gets really strict on the fourth offense. These, to me anyway, seem awfully weak. Just my comment. Compared to what I've heard.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I'm going to hopefully cover all three of those things so you keep me on track. I will say that I've been in the district 18 years. I've been through a couple of cell phone policies. I would say when I was an assistant principal, our policy in the district mirrored what you said. Really, that fourth offense was an alternative school referral, which would be a board decision. So obviously, if that's something that the committee needed to bring back to the board, we can. This is a first read. I'll go ahead and be honest that cell phones are not going anywhere, in my opinion, when we allow them in the cafeteria using the policy for support. We're not taking pictures, we're not FaceTiming, we're not streaming, we're not getting on TikTok and Instagram and videoing anything. We're able to model and we're able to create some of those healthy cell phone habits that are not being policed at home. And so in doing that, that comes to the monitoring situation. It's not something that is, I'm not going to violate it in the cafeteria, but it's more that, hey, I see you're doing something inappropriate. This is what the policy says. You stop, or we're going to go ahead and follow through with what the policy says. So for me, and especially as a parent of 2 middle school students, I think it's that piece that if I'm doing that at home, I want to make sure that the kids my kids are hanging out with are getting that same expectation, whether they are getting it at home or not. We're giving that in the school. Like I said, part of our society issues with some of these things that we're talking about with discipline and things like that, sometimes the school is left up to be the parent. So again, we're allowing that space to figure it out, but within the parameters of these are the things you will not do when using those phones. Last year, or 2 years ago, before we had the stricter policy, that was happening in classrooms, that was happening all over the place. Since moving to this year's version in our cafeteria, I really can't tell you any violations that we've had to process for discipline purposes. Doesn't mean they're not happening, but I can just tell you that that's part of it. Now, kids are kids and they are sneaky, especially my high school friends, so I bet they know the ways to get around things. But I do think that goes back to the policy where we're able to then support these are things that are not appropriate in this setting, and these are the things that are. So I hit up 2 things. What was your third thing?
Well,
And then definitely
it's okay. You don't have to address mine until September anyway.
Sure.
But,
well, it's things our committee needs to think about, so we appreciate that.
Just my thing was the discipline for once it's almost, in my opinion, like our behavior policy. You know, you have 7 times before you're going to get in trouble. And especially the school director in East Tennessee, he was a new director. He came in, he said, when I go to the cafeteria, be silence, because everybody's on their phone. When he instituted the policy, he said that he walked me down to the cafeteria, and you couldn't hear yourself thinking there, because everybody's talking and interacting with each other versus on their cell phone. So, and by the way, I'm just throwing out some stuff.
Yeah, no.
And I agree with Lance. When my grandson went to school here, it just depended on the teacher whether you could use your phone or not. And I'm sure Dr. Alsop will discipline the principals if he has to make sure it happens. But that's key to this thing.
For sure, and we, again, at the school level to the district level, everything we implement in our schools is based off of the Code of Conduct 6.300, so that's kind of our starting point, and then any other policy that is about any kind of student behaviors with discipline and consequences. So again, that's something that once we get that, then we could play in our schools what next steps are for us. So with this policy, again, this is first read, so we love any feedback you guys have as you support going in different direction with the consequences. We are very open and happy to address our thoughts on that.
What do you see in your cafeterias when you walk into cafeterias now as far as the cell phone goes, especially in high school?
I would say, the kids have their phones, some of them, sure. Most of them, though, are talking and they're interacting. They're not glued to their phone. And truly, I'm not going to say they don't have it out, but a lot of times they're looking at something or showing each other if they have their phones. Very few students are just glued to themselves. The cafeteria is loud. We have 300 plus kids in there at a time through 4 lunches, depending on the lunch size of that particular block. So I feel like at the high school level, one of the reasons I think for allowing them that time, a lot of our kids work, a lot of them do drive, and so parents, they want to have a moment to be able to text, so that it gives them that freedom to check in on those jobs. Sometimes they've come to my office before, Ms. Butler, my phone is dead. When I was an assistant principal, my phone is dead, could I please call home? Or could I call my work? I don't remember what time I'm supposed to be there today. Something like that. Some of these kids have to work. They have to do those things. So we wanted to, I think, allow them some freedom to do that without it interrupting the instructional time, hence the lunch.
Having a grandson at the high school, I've asked that question many times. Are you on your phone at lunch? Does everybody sit and listen to each other, or are they on their phones? And the answer has always been, William he can vouch for me. He usually says, no, we're talking. We're talking. We have our phones out, but we're talking. What do you say, William?
We talk a lot.
We have kids who are there playing
I'm sure that's true,
yeah.
but I'd say that would be an exception from what I'm saying.
For sure. In our cafeteria,
That's what I've been told.
yeah, our cafeteria is going to be loud. I mean, there are kids there as well. But again, it's socialization in a positive way. And I feel like if you restrict every second of every day for any child, elementary, middle, high school, you're going to get rebellion when you really do truly need their attention. So going back to correcting, academic time is priority. So if I can give them a smidge of time at lunch, then that's going to be a trade-off where then we get their attention back in the academic times as well. But there are always those who push the limits, and that is why we have policies, for sure. Any other questions from you all? I'm not going to say they can answer.
Thank you.
I was going to ask, what about smartphones?
So if the child's phone is off, and this is my understanding, mine is never off, it becomes just a watch. It's the same policy. If it's making a noise, there's some things in here about is it considered on or not. But a lot of times we had a referral for a student, they were just making their watch ding for no purpose other than disrupting instruction. Well, that's a different policy. That would be more of the Code of Conduct policy versus the violation of cell phone policy just from that classroom disruption. But anything that could be considered a communication device, I call it cell phone policy because I am young old. I've been around before cell phones, so I still just say everything's a cell phone. But it is anything that could be a communication device. out with anything for feedback. Brittany and I are just the lucky ones that had Monday night open, but we are happy to continue to talk and hang out with y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion to pass the policy on first reading. Second. Second. From Ms. Lee, second by Ms. Jones. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. That takes us to item 3, which is request for calendar school credit card. Ms. Jeannie, several of our schools have these, do they not? So this is just something that Ms. Cynthia would like to have. She says that sometimes that she did. That items are getting delayed and not being ordered because they don't have the card to do it, and the purchase order process is first, and this, that, and whatnot. Anyway, it's nothing that we don't already have in place at other schools.
Motion to approve, Callan School credit card.
Second. We have a motion by Mr. Williams to approve, and second by Mr. Marqueski. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. All right, number 4 is proposed information for school year 26-27. It's actually for year 27 Federal Projects Fund budget. Jeannie, do you want to address these? We have our people here.
Well, so everything under number 4 is what is encompassed in the FY27 consolidated school budget. There is the FY27 federal projects budget, the FY27 school nutrition budget. At the very bottom is the proposed general school budget, and then as well as all of the different salary schedules and supplements that go along with building the budget.
So what you're saying is basically 4 through 10 are all fed into our budget, which is number 11.
Yes. So both the federal projects budget and the school nutrition budget are pass-through self-funded budgets. I will ask that if you do, well, either way, I messed up Ms. Crabtree's presentation because we do have to have an approval for the consolidated funding application for FY27. So, but we can do that at the same time if you want to. I just have to have words. So
you want us to go back and pick that up as well?
you can, yeah, throw it in here.
Motion to approve the FC consolidated funding application FY27. Budget related to that.
Is that the thing from the floor?
Yes.
That's the thing.
That's the thing before.
No, that's the one. Yes.
That you presented?
Yes.
Okay. Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Williams, and second by Mr. Marqueski, to approve the FC consolidated funding application for federal programs. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Okay. All right. Now let's move on to the others. Do we have questions on any of these?
I'm wondering if we could maybe have a separate session where we could sit down and discuss some of these some more and just have some further conversation.
In particular, is there, which ones are you?
I have some budget, so the big proposed budget questions. I have some questions about coaching supplements, the nutrition salaries are, the nutrition hourly amounts are lower than the aid and other amounts, and so I'd like to see those brought up. So just being able to discuss now that things have been kind of realigned and we jiggled a little bit.
Well, it said the one about school nutrition, that is a standalone budget. And this body does not govern what she, as being the director, chooses to pay personnel in that department. So that's a separate entity from what we actually do scale for. That makes sense.
So you're saying that what she determines to pay for employees is part of her right.
You know, you maybe could talk to her and say, look, do you have room, to do a little more than that? But we don't control her budget. That's all. It's standing on what she does. So, that might be something that our boss can mention to her if she thinks that she's not,
She likes to keep healthy fund balance because some of her equipment is very expensive. And we have to get it repaired very quickly, so that adds to those charges. So. But, she also needs to pay employees, so absolutely.
And I might say too that on that scale, I was talking to Jenny this afternoon, where it has substitute, teachers, certified, not certified, bus drivers, and cafeteria workers. It has a daily rate, and it has $12, but that's an hourly rate for cafeteria, not a daily rate for those drugs on that.
You mean nobody would work for $12?
No.
Just any
To understand the coaching supplement rates. Coaching, what's like the head football coach makes for the first and second year at 8,800, and then all the other assistant coaches at 4,070. Baseball coach.
They're all the same.
But like soccer is 48-40. Why does soccer make less than baseball and softball versus basketball? Like,
I think it was all based at one point or another on the length of the season, length of, how long, what are you doing? You can't smile back there.
I mean, if we're looking at how the teams do.
And I think if we compare this to our surrounding counties as well, we're comparable. Yes. I was no surprise.
Paper, or screen. Seems like there's some inequities there.
Which I'm sorry.
I mean, just like again, just wanting to understand better. Like, is it related to length of season, or like, I would like to know.
Well, I know with football, it's length of season, they have to maintain the field. There's lots of things that go into their salary and time it takes. I mean, I'm not saying that they have the hardest job, but you can see they are the highest paid.
Do soccer coaches have to maintain their field? Do soccer coaches maintain their fields too? Yes.
How long is your season compared to football? I mean, I don't know.
I think their time probably is that, I think it goes by different factors.
I mean, he's a soccer coach, and he hasn't approached us today. He's well underpaid. Are you underpaid, Ken?
Talking to other coaches, I'd say it's not. Make it all.
Apparently.
And what I've done is in surrounding areas across the board in all sports is pretty similar. Some do it a little bit differently, they like to do a percentage base, but it comes out to balance.
In all the schools that I've worked in, this is very similar, and I think it has to do with like our football program. There's so much exposure, that there are so many people that attend the game. There's so much pressure on those coaches, to perform. That has a lot to do with the pay for these coaches.
Their teaching, their coaching careers can be short-lived.
Yes. We have a new high school football coach, and we're going to support them. We need to support them.
Look, I mean, it's not about not supporting people. It's just about maybe providing what might seem like fair and equal treatment. Thank you. Basketball, 8250. They're not lining the field. That's pretty nicely done for you. Like,
I think those
I bet
sports
look at the number of
are
games,
also support a lot of the other programs.
you think what?
I think the sports that are, the coaches are on the higher end of that, those programs are supporting some of the smaller programs. It's pretty heavily.
And then the revenue that football takes in the game drops.
Investing in football is going to help all programs because the revenue derived by football keeps probably half of those teams afloat.
You mean there's not a lot of spectators involved?
Stop.
I was going to say, before this bright idea over here, a lot of our sports don't actually even collect gate money. So they have to rely on those who do to help fund them.
Like our certified, we're hitting 50,065. The minimum for this year is 50. So anyway, like $65 over, that's not going to wow applicants with our generosity. Can we do a little better?
We're 2.2 million in the red right now, so we can do better, but we'll be broke. I mean, we've added steps. We're up to 25 steps. I mean, everybody knows we funded all this that the states require us. We funded it all ourselves.
I think it'll be interesting to see what the other systems do. I mean, some larger systems and systems that are revenue sources were above the 50,000 anyway. But when we're looking at these smaller rural systems, I think we're going to be in line with most of them.
I think it was what President knows.
Well, we're at 79 to 80% of our budget this year is salary and benefits. So if we raise that any more, I don't know what else we can cut, to try to get that. I mean, we did a lot of cutting for the workshop. We went from 3.4 to 2.2, so I think we did pretty good. 3.1 to
Cut about 1.1 million.
Can we talk a little bit about, just to confirm which things we cut?
Some of the,
Can we just, which things we cut from the budget?
there were various additional coaches supplements that were proposed, that were taken out. A little over $300,000 came out of the technology budget. There have been several positions that have been liquidated as people are retiring or moving around. It's a combination of a lot of things.
Another thing I'd like to say is I've had a couple of principals reach out concerned about their class numbers, and I needed some margin to work with. So, I appreciate what you're saying, and I really would like for that bottom line to be better and more appealing, but I need a little bit of wiggle room because I won't get paid, we won't get funding for those. If we have to add teachers, I won't get that until next year.
So how do we make sure you have that? I agree.
It'll have to come out sometimes. If I have to put teachers, if I have to hire teachers because of enrollment numbers going up, which is a good thing, but we don't have it in the budget this year to cover that. And I don't want to continue to dip into the fund balance. I'm already nervous about it as it is. I don't want to bankrupt the school district. But I need a little better wiggle room.
And the class size has a huge impact on students and learning.
We can't have everything, we can't have our teachers top, top of the surrounding area and still have wiggle room,
So do we have wiggle room with the budget the way it is right now? So what do we need to do to add?
What he's saying is, if you're proposing to raise those salaries higher than what they are right now, then you're taking money from the fund balance that he might need if he has to hire somebody additional.
To make any more changes, we have to cut. And we've already said that 79 to 80% of our budget is their personnel. So to either add personnel or to give more raises means we have to cut 20% from somewhere else. We have to cut from that 20%. And that's programs. And I don't see anybody lining up to cut programs. And that's facilities. Again, I don't see anybody lining up to cut facilities. We have to, but we're going to have to cut to get that salary up or give that wiggle room there.
And Travis, if you still have a reception this year for $64,000, I think you told me there was something that's incorrect.
I said that's incorrect.
And where we need to think, because that is a reception is $64,000.
What was it?
What's that line number?
I don't have my glasses on. But I knew we had something about this. You know, the salaries.
72320. Yeah, that's line 162.
Okay. Yeah. Let's get that correct.
There were two positions that were combined, 160, no, that's all clearance, hold on.
We don't,
Director of schools. So, 161 and 162 were combined.
And that adds up to 60.
That is one position right now of someone that we currently have.
No.
No, that's not gonna be the same.
No.
No, this is different.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, that's.
it looks like we've got one receptionist making 64,000. And,
And I don't care if it's a job, that's more than our teachers.
well, it needs to be clear. We don't want people thinking that we're actually paying a receptionist $64,000 a year. That's overdone. Yeah.
So you're saying that 64,000 is being cut?
No.
It's not that much.
It's the salaries that's going to. Okay. It would be under director.
Yeah, it's office.
It's on page 7. Clerical personnel. No. I see it. Yeah, that's what the clerk.
Set aside, what was it, $30,000 for band uniforms?
I think we took that out. What's your one?
Oh, 20. Yeah, we took out the 70 for assigned band uniforms.
That's
But we still have some money in there, because I know that
There's some money still in there.
PR, but not for salary.
No sign, no.
Yeah.
There's still some money.
Sign the band uniforms.
There's $20,000 for uniforms and choir in the regular budget, and that is, we generally budget $15,000 for the bands for instruments. They changed it from instruments to uniforms for next school year. There was originally an additional amount in capital outlay that was taken out.
So that budget line you were asking about, that's gonna be more like 45,000.
And it a little better. Okay.
And how much would their uniforms really be, did we know? Do we have?
We've never gotten anything that, where they've ever actually given us a quote. We've asked for it for years. We've never received a quote.
It's gotta be closer to $100,000.
I know they're high.
Is there a way to do more to support?
Well, 2.2, remember that number?
What project?
I mean,
You're spending lots of money on lights, which helps the athletes.
yeah. And the band can actually see them walking on the field. Without those lights, there would be no game. And we wouldn't need a band. And we don't buy uniforms for anyone else. So,
We do buy some uniforms.
no, we
Yeah,
don't.
band uniforms are not,
We do not buy uniforms. We talked about this.
I think there are, I thought there were some
No.
sports that have uniforms.
No. We
All
do
of our
not buy
sports
uniforms.
have uniforms, and the parents are responsible for basically funding that.
I'm
That
sorry,
is what
I
we're
thought that there were
fundraising.
some schools provided.
Then again, maybe provided.
They're provided, but the school has to raise those funds. So the
And then
schools
they-
that have,
They keep
that
them
have
year after year.
sports, they have their own athletic funds at the school level that money comes from fundraisers, parents, and ticket sales. The district does not fund school uniforms for sports teams.
If the schools buy them, the perception could be if they have them and they give them out, that the county buys them. That could be that perception. Does that make
It
sense?
could be, but the district does not buy uniforms.
One year we bought uniforms and we were able to give them out in oncoming years and not charge for them. So that might have given people the perception that the county or the school furnishes them. But we just were passing them out year after year. It came out of the school, but people may not have known that. And that could be one thing that says, somebody's buying them.
When I coached at Huntland, the parents bought them, but they agreed to reuse them, so next year's kids reuse the ones, no matter who bought them.
That's right.
But the school didn't buy them.
Parents bought them,
Yes.
and you let them in the school?
And they stay with the school.
That's good, that was nice. Yeah.
Motion to approve the proposed FY27 general school budget
Will you add to that, please?
with the, oh gosh, what was it out for?
With knowing that if the county commission does not approve to give you your growth, you will still approve the budget.
Yes,
With or without the growth.
with or without the growth, yes.
Wait, can you explain?
Well, the county growth is about 36,000.
Yeah.
All right.
So this budget has, right now, I have calculated in the county commission approving the growth on the county property taxes. We ask for that every year, and every year it doesn't happen, but we always put it in the budget and just in case.
And hope for the best.
Right, and hope for the best. But you are also saying that if the county does not grant that growth, that you will still pass your budget. Basically, that keeps me from having to call a special called meeting where you guys have to come back on another night and approve the budget that doesn't have the
Without
growth in it.
Second.
motion on the floor, Mr. Williams, a second by Ms. Roberts. Pass the proposed FY 27 budget. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. There is a list of meetings and
I need
information there.
approval on the other.
I'm sorry?
I gotta have approval on all those other things, Steve. You just did the FY 27 general fund budget. So I need the federal, the school nutrition.
Motion to approve the FY 27 federal budget, school nutrition budget,
Salary scales.
salary scales, and supplements.
And all that do, we just say in general salary scales and supplements. And compensation for extra days.
Yeah, all the supplements.
All right.
And you get all that.
Are you with us, Ms. Randall? Okay. Motion, Mr. Williams, we have a second? Second, Ms. Schultz. All in favor say aye. Aye. Did that kind of backwards.
It's okay. Doesn't matter what order it's in.
There is a list of scheduled meetings and information at the end. You all can read that. I'm not going through that tonight. Is there anything else? Any other discussion, comments? If not,
Regulations.
Motion to adjourn.
we have a motion to adjourn. Sleepy, and I'll make